ancient times, this sacred mountain was sealed by the dwarf deities with 5 powerful...
Let's skip that boring part and let's dig into business. I need your help.
Hey, where am I? This is a bit different from what I visited earlier.
Hey, come here quick.
Oh, me?
Yes, you.
How dare you to interrupt my story? I am the mountain.
Well, as I was saying, this is the Misty Mountain and has 2 things about it. One, it's filled with golds and diamonds.
And there is some kind of weird magic. What was the last part?
Instead, you can mine any dwarf streams, and all you need is a pickaxe.
Any dwarf streams?
Hello, everyone.
Hello, everyone. Welcome in. How you doing? And hey, today's Wednesday. We're here on the usual stream. And first of all, I want to say I'm a little bit nervous. We don't get to have so many star guests in the show as we usually do. So first of all, I want to say that today we're going to see the Gala for the Pickaxe VoxEdit with Vanley. And I want to introduce and welcome Bill and Panda Pops, and welcome in. Thank you for being here, most than anything. So I would start by you, Phil. And first of all, I want you to say an hello to everyone and also explain a little bit of what we're doing here today.
Hey, guys. Can you hear me?
I can hear perfectly, yeah.
Okay, perfect. Well, thank you so much, Bruno. It's really a pleasure to be here with you guys. And it's been a pleasure ever since I joined the Sandbox community. And I don't mean, right, 2012 when it was created, but I mean the depths of the community, right? With all the smaller groups and everything. It's really been a pleasure. And especially seeing you guys kind of grow, because I think we started going back and forth at the beginning of 23. Is that accurate?
Yes, it was pretty much the beginning of the year that we started to do some events together.
Right. We were going back and forth, I think, on Twitter when we first met, and then we had a call and just, clicked. We were like, we need to do something together. We were yet to figure out what, but I think what we are trying to do here just makes sense for both ways. It's kind of what Venly, it's pray what you preach, right? Since we are trying to be even closer to the Sandbox communities, and we've had so many activations with them right now, at least for me, from the role that I have as a community manager and strategist at Venly and uncle for the Meta Ring, it just makes sense for me to kind of try to dive into the experiences that are built within the Sandbox, not just Sandbox ecosystem as a whole. So I think this just makes sense for us. Yeah, actually, this was your idea, right, to do the art contest. I think you guys did it perfectly the first time, and now it just needs to grow further.
Hell yeah. And thank you for putting it out. And like you said, well, we started to discuss how we could do some activities together. There's so much synergy because Vanly is also a very important Sandbox partner, as it helps to onboard millions of users that do not need to be tech savvy or need to be an expert in crypto, NFT, and whatsoever. And it really helps to get the onboarding process much, much easier. And speaking which, we were talking about, okay, we have all of these in common, and how can we do something together to bring content, most likely content, for the communities that also have all of these common place, which is the Sandbox. And speaking which, I want to pass the word to you, Panda, and welcome in, and thank you so much for being here. How are you doing today?
Hey, I'm doing good today, thank you. And sorry about my technical difficulty. My camera just really froze. It looked like I was deep in thought, which isn't a bad freeze to have, but yeah, sorry about that. I'm glad to be here. Thank you so much for inviting me. I have really enjoyed seeing all of the creative pickaxes everybody has made. They're really cool. I love what you guys do. I obviously adore Venly as well, being a partner of the Sandbox. Yeah, glad to be here and help with the judging of this awesome VoxEdit contest.
All right, I have to warn everyone, we've got Gordon Ramsay right here of the VoxEdit.
Yeah, right, I'm a bit mean.
Well, I would not say mean, I would say experts.
Fair enough.
You're experienced in seeing VoxEdit submissions, at least to say the minimum.
Yeah.
So we've got around 30 beautiful VoxEdit Pickaxe submissions, and personally, I have to say I love them all. My votes should not count, but we do have to vote, so we'll do it anyway. So we've got here all these open tabs, and what we're going to do, we're going to pretty much sum the votes from Pickaxe Master, Venly, and the Sandbox side all together. And by the time that we're seeing, and also we're going to take the opportunity that we have here, Panapops, which is our guru of all the community regarding the VoxEdit, and she will, one, give some tips as well on because there was a lot of first-time creations, and that's something, personally, I loved it, and I'm very happy to see that these contests actually made you to install VoxEdit, give it a try and see it. And hey, who knows, these might be the first to many VoxEdit creations. And as you know, there's a lot of contests that are made by the Sandbox for VoxEdit. There's also a beginner tier. There's like an advanced tier, but I'll leave that to Panda to explain a little bit better as well. Okay, and then I'm going to also to ask Venly regarding what he personally, as part of the Venly, he was looking for in terms of a mashup of the theme with Venly and a pickaxe, which is pretty much the Pickaxe Master concept. So, all right, let's get started. We'll do by order of the submissions. So there's no particular here preference in the order that we're going to see. Just first submission, first to appear on the chat. So as we go, we've got here the first submission, which was brought by Asphalt PK. So first Pickaxe, and this is my first time, Panaboss. You got to help us in this reviewing process. We never did this before. We're beginners here.
Oh, see, you just want me to take the lead. You want me to be the mean person to go first. Okay, well, firstly, like, obviously, I could tell that this asset was made by a beginner. So if you are a beginner, plug, go check out those VoxEdit tutorials that you can find on VoxEdit tutorial menu tab, or watch my personal streams. Every Monday on the Sandbox stream as well, we go over all VoxEdit stuff, and you can ask questions there. But with me clearly seeing that this is a very beginner asset, the design quality scored slightly lower for me, personally. It's not a bad design by any means. They've obviously, they've made a pickaxe. I can clearly tell it's a pickaxe. And the colors are cohesive on there, so it's nice. There's not a lot of detail. I would have liked to have seen some more detail and level of complexity. So it's not a very complex asset that was created. There's not any animations. It doesn't look like it's had like different types of nodes added to it. So when I look at level of complexity, I'm seeing like other animations. How easy could I replicate this? And I could replicate this very easily. So it didn't score the highest, but it's a really good, nice effort. I like the colors.
So you have here the colors, the Venly logo has this purplish, I would say, dominant color. So I think most of the submissions also add this color because of that. And now that you mention it, I want to feel also to tell a little bit what he personally was looking for when he was seeing these submissions in terms of having the Venly brand integration.
Right. So let me just say that I'm kind of the, if you say that Panda Pops is the chef of our show, I must say I'm the John Wick, right? I'm trying to look badass, but I just have a good heart for it, you know. I can't really be very 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 you know, I can't really have a strong opinion on how hard they worked on this. I really enjoyed seeing new people joining the you know, Vox Edit app. So I'm really trying to encourage everyone to continue on their work and yeah, join more of our streams, as you guys said, to learn more about it. Indeed, I was really looking into the, well, Venly brandings. They are not specifically themed, right? It's not like you can say, hey, look, it's you know, it's League of Legends, or if it's, you know, it doesn't have a specific theme. So I'm not looking especially for a type of pickaxe, but rather on how you can play around, how you can mix those, you know, what you can imagine, where do you actually see the Venly branding going, kind of type of thing. So I really enjoyed the ones that were very very creative with this.
Okay, so you're not very tight on like, oh, this is not on brand. I don't like it.
No, for sure.
Okay, in that case, I have to say I was the mean one then. I was looking for, I was looking like, no, this is not matches the Venly team, or this does not. At least in our Pickaxe collection, we have this sort of fixed sort of design, and we, in terms of the voting, the ones that were towards more the design of what we already had, we kind of tend to like to go, oh, these matches well with the current collection or our personal team as well, and also matches the Venly team. That's what majorly we're trying to look after as well. Okay, so regarding this one, and I agree with you, Pam, that this was done by beginner, but not bad at all. My personal thing would be to encourage to keep going and keep trying and develop your skills. Like Panda just said, she has tons of tutorials on how to make cool assets. So if you want as well, Panda, just drop the link in the chat to your own personal Twitch and links to YouTube maybe. And while you do that, I'll give the scoring. I guess I'll have to take that part to give either the good or the bad news. So, all right, here it goes. I'll save you from the hassle of what was the individual scoring of everyone. Then we added up.
Drum roll.
Basically, this goes from 1 to 5, or from 0 to 5. So 0 being the least votes, 5 being the most votes. And then we did ourselves from several categories, which would be from design quality, creativity, details, complexity, and personal favorite. Then from there, we found an average, and each one of us did that. So we have 3 different averages, and we have the overall average. So the submission here by Asphalt PK, which does not have a name, I also took note of all your creative names for the Pickaxe, which I really enjoyed it as well. It gives some background story. But for Asphalt, you got a score of 1.6 on this one. I'm not sure if this is mean to see the score live. You usually, Panda, how do you usually go? You just go like, hey, this is the top 5, and you don't actually get to tell anyone like how they score.
Yeah, we don't reveal any scoring just because sometimes we have more judges in a contest than other contests. So if we started giving scores out and they compared it to other contests, they might end up being a bit confused. Also, it's to stop arguments. Like if there's 1 point between people, then they might start arguing. Also, we don't do like half points or like 2.25 and stuff like that. It's either a 2 or it's a 3. So it's just easier. We don't give out scores across any of our contests. No scorings are ever given. But I like this. Let's be mean.
Okay, let's try a different format, and they don't have any chance to compare with another because the last contest was 1 year ago, and probably the next one will be in another year. So we're good. We're safe here. Okay. So also we've got another thing which I want to put out in the beginning, which is this form right here. This will be for the community vote. So again, thank you all for joining in. And unfortunately, I'll not be greeting individually every single one of you like we usually do, because today we're on a fixed time. Our guests have also limited time, so I'm going to try to take advantage as much of the time we've got left. So fill it up, that form. That's the community vote. So you get to decide that particular award that will be sent out to one creator. So fill it up and yeah, join and let's see the others. Okay, next one we've got here from GeoJoker. I created this pickaxe to celebrate the Mattering family joining the Pickaxe Master. Hope you like it. I have to be honest, I love the introduction video.
Me too.
The storyline that he gets from it. Okay. Probably we'll try to get it a little bit shorter because we have about like 30-45 minutes to go over about 30 pickaxes. So short term, I'll go Panda. One sentence, two things, one thing you like, one thing you could be better.
Okay, one thing I liked the color. I like the color.
Okay.
To make it better, I would have liked to see a little bit more complexity to it. It's very, very simple. So animations, I really like seeing animations on equipment. It really makes them unique.
All right. So this is already some beans. If you're submitting either for the sandbox contest, animations is a big role. You should take that in consideration. Phil, what and how about yourself?
Okay, thank you for that. Let me just first add that I also want to hear the scores because I'm just curious how far I was from the two of you guys. I'm just curious if I was a good judge or I was just being I was just doing a lousy job. Okay, this one I really enjoyed. I was able to feel the branding a little bit more from the other one, but indeed I was kind of missing some of the action. I loved the circles around the handle though. So a little bit more branding, which went a fair good amount of it went a long way for me, let's say.
Perfect. I like the way that they did also the spiral. It looks like it was something there. It does show a little bit attention to the details, but yeah, it's hard when you get to see all of these submissions and then you scroll down and you kind of see like all of these very complex with a lot of animation, a lot of things going on. So it needs to have at least this comparison. Okay, so regarding the votes here, so you wanted to see how much was like your own votes compared to our votes?
No. I mean, just seeing the overall vote, I'm good. I'm like, okay, I was close to it, or I was like really, really far away.
Okay. I think so far we have been quite in the same page, but only 3 have been given. So let me add up here real fast. So we've got one. No, it's not that far away from what we all voted here. Okay, so for GeoJoker here, we've got results. And yeah, this should have been easier to do before the stream than actually do it live. You're right, Prema.
I think he actually has more entries, but yeah, this is one of them. I think he has some better work as well, if I'm not mistaken.
GeoJoker, I think he only has one. We've got a couple of submissions that went from the same creator, but I think GeoJoker only sent one.
Okay.
So we've got here an average of 1.50. So here we go. All right, congratulations, GeoJoker, and thank you for participating in the contest. Let's get to the other one.
We're going up.
Hell yeah. We've got here from the Shakespeare. So Shakespeare it's one of the OG names we know in the space. He's been participating in either VoxEdit contests, game jams. He's also one of the first ones to be part of the Creator Fund, if I recall. So good to see his submissions here. And Panda, I'm curious, what do you think about this particular one? This is a very odd type of pickaxe.
I recall seeing that there are a couple of variations of this. So this particular entry didn't score as high as the one with animations, because there is one very similar with animations. I liked the design style. I thought it looked really cool. It's got like the logo, but shaped like a pickaxe, and I really, really like that. The transition of the colors at the end of the V, I really, really like that. Otherwise, I'm looking at my scores right now. It didn't score very well on complexity. I don't think that this would be... It scored higher than the other ones that we've had, but it's not scored highly on complexity for me because I know that this technically wouldn't be very hard to do, but I like all of the little details. There's like small little details added all around this asset. So I did enjoy this asset. Just there are areas like animations and some extra added details that probably would have made this one better.
Okay. When you speak about complexity, what are you referring
to? Complexity would be animations for one. It's generally how easy would it be to replicate this. So if somebody, like the first two we had, they had very, very simple assets that they probably took a sword equipment and just edited that very easily with very little, I don't want to say very little effort. That seems really rude because they've obviously put effort in, especially if it's their first time, they've put effort in and they're learning, and that's fantastic. But it would be easy for even a beginner to also do that. It's not very hard to do that as a beginner. So when I'm looking at level of complexity, I'm looking at how easy could this be replicated by a medium standard voxel artist first? How much additional nodes have they added? How well the animation flows, if there's animation, the little details. So not everybody knows that you can take a voxel and rotate it and use the edges to create tiny details, because within VoxEdit, the smallest size you can have is 1 voxel, but you can get around that by taking that 1 voxel and rotating it in the animator and creating, like, using the edges of that voxel or the points of that voxel to create more detailed parts of an asset. So that's what I'm looking for when it's in terms of level of complexity.
I voted a lot of 1 because for me everything is complex. I'm terrible at designing.
Yeah, me too.
Okay, so I think we'll do like this. We'll do 1 Panda, and then the other one we'll do with Phil, and we go hopping back and forth. So on this one, summing up all the votes, we've got an average here of 3.1 for this submission of the Shakespeare. And I really like also here, I want to point out that the names really make me happy. This is something I always smile to see, like there's a background thought, like what this is supposed to be or where it comes from. The shimmering silver amethyst pickaxe. Wow. I really dig this stuff. Okay, next one is also a Shakespeare submission, which, like Panda said, it's a variation of the same design. And Phil, I do want to ask you regarding this one. It does have more stuff going on than the previous one. And what's your take on this one?
Well, you just got it right for me, right? It has everything related to Vanly. It has the logo. It even has the meta ring down there. I really like that. You have a handle, but it doesn't really, like you have places to put your hands on it, but it doesn't really end, I think it's really cool how he created it. It has some animations as well, as Panda Pop said it needs to have. So this one I really enjoyed. I don't think it was my top notch, but it was there for me, right into my heart.
Oh, I can imagine. While I was also watching this, I was like, yeah, this has all the details about Vanly.
Yes.
It also shows that person paid attention and went to study what was the Vanly ecosystem. Like you're saying, like it even has the Vanly ring. And
Shakespeare, wherever happens, just I'll mint this, wherever happens, just send it to me. I'm gonna make it. We have the Meta Ring Mashers clan in the Pickaxe. We'll just mint it for us, and yeah, that's it. Don't worry.
So hey, I see that there's extra prizes in here. So for this one, it's got an overall score higher than the last one from all of us, and we've reached into an average of 3.8, which is really good. From 0 out of 5, 3.8 is a really high score already. Okay, very good stuff in here. I really enjoy this one as well. Next one, we've got the Bitfox, which is a cute pickaxe it's the rattlesnake pickaxe. So I like the creativity, the mashup of themes here. It's different. It's creative, and Panda, what you like about this one from you?
Do you know what I like about it? I like the little rattling tail at the bottom. I really liked that. That's when I was looking at it. At first, I was like, oh, standard pickaxe. And then I saw, actually, they got a little rattling tail at the bottom. I enjoyed that. And the colors. I like purple. What can I say?
Iki on our team.
Yeah.
All right. Well, again, this is also, from what I understand, and from, I would say, the general of submissions, it's also a sort of simplistic approach of the pickaxe. And but I think regarding it's simple, it's effective in terms of, at least for us, the design of the pickaxe itself. It does fit into the general theme of a pickaxe, and I like the mashup with the snake. I'm not sure if they only has something with snake theme. There's any background maybe that we
no. But again, I think this is like a very unique one. I haven't seen any axe with any snakes before, and we shouldn't sleep on the fact that there's also something, like some energy in at the very top of it, So that's also, it's a fair entry. Must say
it's a fair entry. I would say also it's a fair entry. I also paid attention to the colors that it was supposed to be. The rattlesnake is a nice touch indeed. Hey, okay, so let's go. No, we did not see the value of this one. All right, so for the Bitfox entry, we have here an average within all the scores. You got it right. The rattlesnake pickaxe, it reaches an awesome, and let me just see if I copied. Well, I did. Okay, perfect. It reaches an average of 2.6. So congratulations, the Bitfox. This was the first entry, first contest, so keep going. I think this is a very good start. Now, next, we've got Andy Graga. Andy Graga here also got, here's the family axe for the contest. I think Andy Graga participated also in the game jam, in this one that just ended, if I recall correctly. So we got a little bit more stuff going on in here. Panda, so on this one, I would ask you, for example, it has animation, which is something you're always looking for. In terms of the animations, what would you recommend, or what would be your take in animations?
Oh, I think animations depend on what the asset is, or what the asset is trying to achieve. So I don't dislike this asset. The style is simplistic, but I think that goes for it. The spinny bits and the lights dotting around, I do like. That's cool. I'm gonna actually look at my scores here. It's a level of complexity. I did rate it sort of mid-tier because it does have a fair bit going on in terms of additional nodes. It's not really anything extra happening, but the animations are nice. They're clean animations. What they have animated works. So it looks good. It's not janky. It's not like, for those that don't know what janky means, it's not like a little bit all over the place. It flows nicely. The design of it is sleek. It's got a nice sleek design. Color seems on point. I've just assumed Venli is just like purple everything at this point. Yes. I'm like, if it's purple, it's on point. In terms of style and creativity, for me, I was taking creativity to be like, how creative were you with the theme and the general idea? I didn't feel like this was being extra creative outside of the general theme that was being given, but it was within the theme. They just didn't take it to a outside of the box. So sometimes with creativity, I'm still looking for theme, but can you link theme to outside of the box and make it different while still being relevant? It's a really hard one to do. But I enjoyed this. It's done well. So congratulations, Andy Greger. And I know Andy's always improving their artwork. and they'll be happy to know a beginner's VoxEdit contest is coming soon.
Also, I have to add here, so most likely you've followed or accompanied, that's the word, maybe, the journey of a lot of creators. Like you've seen their first submission and then their second, their third, and see the progress of it, right?
Yeah, there's a lot of names that I see that regularly come up, and I see people improving all of the time, and I love seeing that. And I do try generally to give as much feedback as I personally can to those submissions, as well as giving feedback before the end of the dates for contests, so they could maybe improve and do better in the contest if they submit, and I have the time to be able to give them that feedback on a live show. But yeah, I've seen a lot of people grow and submit. Andy Graga is one of those people I have definitely seen grow and submit. And not just that, but I've also been on a very similar journey, especially to OG Shakespeare that submitted a lot. We were both in the Creator Fund, and we've both sort of grown through the sandbox at the same time. So I've also been in all of these people's shoes. So yeah.
I gotta say that it has to be at least rewarding to see the first submission, like, hey, you're doing well. Like, look what you are right now. How much you learned and developed your skills.
Yeah.
All right. So Andy Graga, from the total votes here from the Pickaxe Master, Vanley, the Sandbox, you've reached a score average of 2.8. Congratulations. So we've seen that we have some that get higher, a little one that get lower, some that right in the middle. So let's keep going. We have not finished. So next one will be from Bayon, and it is the Rat and Pickaxe. So Phil, I want to ask you, what is your take on this one, which is very detailed on, this is a pickaxe, a handle use rattan, I don't know what rattan is, head and chisel frame use walrus ivory. I found this very, very peculiar and I like it. And the violet is Vanley. This is the reason I use rattan.
Okay. Yeah, indeed. As I said, I really like that he gave a little bit of, backstory to it. You can see where or how you can add it into a lore, how you can build up on a lore for it, which already kind of, creates a whole lot of universe around it. So that's really, really nice. Again, for the colors, as Panda already said, it's like we took the whole color palette from pink to purple and then just put it in Vanley. So it's kind of hard to miss it. But golden, I think it really fits for the handle. I think it really fits in there. And yeah, white, I always like to add it in there. It's fairly simple for me, but this only means effective,
Okay. Well, I enjoyed pretty much the background of it. It kind of makes you look, when you look at it and you understand, like, oh, this was the process that they were thinking while they were creating the item. At least it makes me to go there to their brain and like, oh, this is what I'm supposed to be looking at. Okay, so we're going to look at what was the scores here for the Rat and Pickaxe that was done by Eon.
You can see with this one you can only mine gold, right? This is what it takes you to.
Oh, I'm pretty sure that we will only get gold with him. And the score we got on this one, the average from all the scores, it is 1.9. So far, we have the Shakespeare taking the lead with his pickaxe. So let's see if you get surprise or if we're going to get a surprise. Next one. Oh, wow, that was touch. We got CRP Monster. Personally, I have to ask. I only voted one as a personal favorite, I think. Yeah, and no, actually, I voted two, and this was one of them. Personally, I really enjoyed this one, and I'll talk on this one maybe. I voted this one on as my personal favorite because the details here on the base of the pickaxe, it goes on the same details that we use also in our pickaxe collection. The gold shading and colors also go, and then we have the Vanley colors. We have this part after the handle that kind of splits in two, that makes a V. So it makes me think that it's the V for Vanley. And then it has all the right colors. Also, the top here, again, goes with all of the Pickaxe Master theme in the design of the pickaxes. Personally, I love this one, and I think it was really well accomplished in mashing the two brands / themes. But
It's good composition.
it's a good composition. It does not have animation, and like Pana was saying, not all assets need an animation. And I would say this one feels very solid for me. It's not over the top, it's not too less, but yeah, I would love to hear what would be also Panda's take on this one.
So this one scored very, very well for me as well. It did get a score within my personal favorite. I will also mention that they did submit again, and they submitted the same thing with animation. So their one with animation scores better from me because on complexity. But I could clearly see the vision of this. It seems to fit really, really well within both of your Pickaxe Master and Venli. The shading in particular is done just so neatly. It's just really smooth. It's so smooth. It's clean and sleek, and I absolutely love the design on this. And I could definitely see it fit. It definitely fits within the sandbox as well. So that's something I also look for, is how well would this look within the sandbox if they're using it within other experiences, if they're holding this pickaxe. Like, is the style also like a sandbox type of style? And it is. It's really, really nicely done. Very well done.
You just I'll get going. So yeah, and while we present the next one, I'll ask this question. So we've got here for CRP Monster, the average score that he got from all votes was impressive 3.6. So congratulations, CRP Monster, very good submission. And we will start into the next one, which is another one made by the Shakespeare. So let's change here. And it's this one is a mad complex one, which is the Blue Diamond Steampunk Pickaxe. And I do want to ask, when you said the sandbox design, because we've seen people modeling also the voxels into something that makes look it more like low poly, right? And I think that's what you want to say into the pickaxe sort of design, as opposed to the non-sandbox standards. Or so
yeah. When I go on about sort of sandbox style, something that's very not sandboxy style is really, really high quality, high poly assets that have intricate details. The best ones I can use to probably describe this is when people make I'm going to use DM Archer as an example. DM Archer is a great example of making assets that look fantastic, but not quite in the sandbox style. So they will use a lot of polys, and they will use very high detail in like the avatar, the NPC faces, that makes them look not quite realistic, but definitely not like a sandboxy style, which to some extent, style, I think, is very subjective, and people will have all different views over what they like style-wise. But yeah, that's generally what I mean. So if it's lower polys, like that's why we have our guidelines. That's why we have a max node count for optimization and a max face count is obviously one for optimization as well, but for style reasons too, I believe.
So it's more like also the brand, like how the sandbox wants to position as a brand and its own style. Like creators can do their own stuff. They're free. It's UGC.
And that's why we have those guides as a guide. Obviously, users are free to do whatever they want, but the sandbox style is the sandbox's style, very sort of block-esque.
It makes all the sense to have your own defined style of what will be the communication of the sandbox itself as a style. So since you did comment the last one, Phil, I want to talk about this one because you gave also a really high score in here.
Indeed, I think it fits into the, so in terms of colors, I think it fits for Pickaxe. And for me, it was, I guess, the steampunk theme that really got into me. I like that, and I think it's the only one that was using this kind of, tools to rotate in order for it to be able to kind of mine, which was also a nice addition for me. I haven't seen it for any other entry, and it was something that, it's so easy to implement, to think of it, but you just never do. And then again, yeah, we can see the V that is actually the mining part, which is was cool. I'm just wondering, yeah, is the blue diamond at the top, right?
I would guess so.
Mm-hmm.
Or at least it's finding blue diamonds.
Yeah,
That would
yeah.
also be neat. And also,
I like
just
this one.
I also want to add, like, I really like the fire part that's eating up all the steampunk. Then you have like the smoke coming out the chimney, that little cute chimney. It feels very organic, like the way it's
Yeah,
done.
yeah, yeah. It's
This
like
reminds me.
it's like a mechanical thing brought to life, right?
Yeah, it reminds me there was a steampunk VoxEdit contest, and I loved it. That was so cool. One of my favorites as well. Okay, so this one, it's actually the one with the highest score so far, which is an average from all votes of a solid and round 4. Congratulations, Shakespeare. I know that you still have one to watch, but so far, you're nailing it, man. All right, next one. We've got here from Zivar. Okay, Lab Shansom. And I'm quite dubious on this one because when I looked at it at the first time, it did not look it was made in VoxEdit. It looked it was made in Magica Voxel, maybe. I'm not sure. Maybe Panapops. I'll have to ask you. What do you think about this one?
I actually quite liked this one. Now that you've said it doesn't look like it was made in VoxEdit, has now got me questioning whether it is. And I'm gonna have to like just quickly open it big on my screen so I can take a better look. I definitely think it has been made in VoxEdit.
You believe it was?
I've either that or they've imported it over from Magica Voxel into VoxEdit and made edits, but it definitely looks like they would have been able to achieve this in VoxEdit, which is why I gave them. Oh no, they didn't have a high complexity score, but they did get a good detail score because I did like the details on it, and there's purple, but overall it didn't 100% seem to fit the theme as much as other ones that we've seen. But the overall design of this looks pretty cool. I feel it would be less like a pickaxe and more like a weapon. I could see a dwarf wielding this rather than as like a battle weapon rather than mining with it. So yeah, that's my take on that. I hope it was made in VoxEdit now.
Well, I was just questioning because the handle itself, it kind of looks too big from the template,
They could have edited, but so that's the thing. They could have edited that. They could have done all sorts. You can do loads of stuff in within VoxEdit to edit those handles and make them absolutely huge and smaller and all sorts.
Okay.
Nice touch with the reflection, though.
Yeah, and this also feels like something you could have as a loot in Diablo. Like you're exploring the dungeon and they're like, oh, I've got these really cool amethyst pickaxe. Also, it's really cool. Does Venly also has anything to do with amethyst? Because I saw a lot of submissions that were naming amethysts, or maybe that's just because it's purple.
Yeah, I think it's the color that actually brings people to to there.
Mm-hmm. Okay, so this one that was brought by Lab Shazam, it had an amazing score as well of 3.7. So congratulations, and I want to see more. I want to see more exports of this because it looks really amazing, and I think everyone will enjoy if we can see more of this as well. So congratulations, that's a huge score, 3.7. That's in the top 5 for now, for sure. So let's move on, and I think we're almost reach halfway. So this is the second entry from CRP Monster, and Phil, you were saying about regarding the steampunk. This kind of goes a little bit into the steampunk theme, I would say.
Now
But
that you
what's your
say
take on
it.
this one?
No, that's fair. I think we've seen the other version of it. This one is animated, so I think it also hit higher for me as well. Yeah, it did. Um, yeah, I guess it's a bit steampunk. I just now realized what you said about the the ending of the pickaxe that has these really cool striations.
Mm-hmm. So
Yeah,
yeah, that's
yeah.
that's the steampunk part, I would say.
Okay, fair enough.
All right, I think it's a good variation. Personally, I don't do this quite often. When I see variations of the same design, actually makes me kind of sad. I'm like, if you were about to do something different, like it should be in completely different submission, I would say, not just a variant from it. But that's my personal take. I don't know if everyone feels like that, but that's how I feel about variations. On my end, actually,
No, but
I
that's
gave a little bit lower than the original one.
Oh, interesting. See, I assumed that if they had taken the exact same thing and just added something new to it, but it's clearly like the same asset, I vote it better with the understanding that they've improved upon it and the first one would just sort of be a write-off.
Well, it's good that we have different approaches and different votings. It means that it's even more fair, the overall and final score. Okay,
no,
so
no, but I mean, it just feels a bit slimmer, right? It feels like you would be faster with this pickaxe rather than if it would have two type of blades. So yeah.
Well, it's just personal. I would say, for example, if this goes into the steampunk, for example, as opposed for Shakespeare entry, which actually had the fire heating up, it had the chimney with the smoke. So regarding the theme of it, like I look at it as this makes sense. It has a fire, it has the mechanical process, it has a smoke, so it's like a functional thing. And on this one, I look at it as like, what's making that wheel spin? It looks good. This is not about this looks good, but how does it work? I don't understand. So either way, overall, CRP Monster also got a really high score on this one, because that was just one part of the voting, and CRP Monster got an amazing 3.4 points. So congratulations on both of your scores, because you averaged a really high on this, and this is a very good sign. So if you're thinking on designing more CRP Monster, I highly also recommend you to keep going, because you're making some really cool assets. Okay, next one, we've got the last and final entry from the Shakespeare, which is the fourth, the Blue Diamond Laser Pickaxe, which is, again, an alternate form, which kind of matches a little bit of what he already done before as well. And again, I'll have to say, since it was also an alternate version, in my way of voting, I tend to give lowers to the ones that I feel that are replicated. So I'll stop talking and ask. Phil, you just okay. So Panda, what would be your take on this one? I know that you have a very different approach on this. So
You say that, but I actually implemented your same approach for this one. Because
Okay.
even though it's the same-ish, I thought it wasn't as good as the other ones that we saw. Even though it's got that little bit of spark, and it did score better for complexity compared to the ones that didn't have the animation. In terms of the style, and I'm looking at design quality and style with creativity, it didn't score as much, mainly because there was a lot of the same sort. So for me, it's as if, okay, you took the same thing and you just refurbished it. So the creativity was lacking for this one, because it's a later entry. So your other ones were more creative, and then you were just riffing off of those, which hands down to you, great job. You've done a load of stuff, and it's good. You got the logos there. It's generally on theme. It's not off of theme. Obviously, I don't see the purple, and I'm looking for the purple. The gold, I like the gold. The gold looks cool. And generally speaking, the colors work well together and the design works well. It's just, it didn't score as well for me compared to the other ones that had been created.
I feel terrible. This is the worst job ever. Rating people and giving criticism live. You guys are the worst.
I know OG is watching, so I'm just gonna say in jest, OG, you suck, get good. But also you don't, you're amazing and I adore you.
Love to see it. Love to see it. All right. So this one actually from Shakespeare ended up to be, no, actually it was not with the least score. It was the one that got in thirds. So the average voting for this one got to be in 3.3 points. Still a very big one. Still above average, nonetheless. Okay, so now we go to last year Trier, which, if I recall, he started to design on VoxEdit this year and also started to participate in game jams, which is really cool to see, like you're saying, new names, new people to start to design and participate in contests. And personally, I also enjoyed this one. It feels very royal, I have to say. And we can see the dwarf, and we can see this has been upscaled just for the render. Actually, it's smaller, the asset. And Phil, what's your take on this one?
Well, let me just say that I was trying to be. I also know last year Triers. I think he joined our Christmas campaign with the sandbox, so I know him for quite a while now. I know he also just started doing this, and he created a bunch of other assets for Venly even before anyone else. So he was, continuously sending me his designs. I think this one is probably one of the best of his, as you also said. It gives me a little bit of Egyptian style, which I love. I think it definitely fits, right? If you were to to mine in a pyramid, I think you would be very, very successful.
I can see that as being a side theme, Egyptian mining.
Fair enough.
And I agree with you. It does feel very. I'm not sure if it's because of the background that's also influencing, but yeah.
But also details on the handles and everything. He did a nice job for me.
It did, and I did not know that backstory about he already doing some contests with Vanley, about making the special Christmas assets and already being parts of it. I can see also that they're probably, most likely, members of the community that are part of the sandbox, but also part of Vanley that were like, oh, they're mashing both things. Yeah. This is perfect. This is my contest. Let's do it. All right. So this one also got a really good score, got a really high one. So I think I cannot minimize this. It will screw up the screen. Go back. Okay. So for this pickaxe that was done by last year Trier, it reached an amazing, outstanding average of 3.8. So as it is right now, this is sitting at second place, this submission. So congratulations, let's just try it. Let's keep going on. Okay, next one. We've got here by Sir Alokan. And Sir Alokan says, I'm new to VoxEdit, but I don't mind how this turned out. So can I put this big? No. So Panda, I want to ask you again. So regarding new creators to VoxEdit, so my question is, so they're starting, they're trying new stuff. What advice would you give for someone that's trying out for the first time, that they're going to fail, they don't understand that much?
The advice for new people I generally give is take the templates that VoxEdit give you and play about with them. Look at how those rigs are set up. Play about with editing and recoloring, all of those, because that will give you a really good indicator. And again, on VoxEdit itself, we do have a section of tutorials that have all basic tutorials. They teach you all of the tools, all of the basic stuff that you need to be able to know to understand VoxEdit to get started. So I do strongly suggest you watch those. And I do also suggest joining the Sandbox Discord, going to the VoxEdit discussion and asking tons of questions there, because we have loads of people, including myself, that hang out there and will give you advice. And also tuning in to those VoxEdit Monday live streams, because you can literally ask me to tell you how to do something, and I will show you how it's done, and I will give you a live tutorial right there.
Panda Pops providing public service right there. And hey, I'm not complaining. I appreciate it a lot. I try to attend as many streams as I can and always learn. And it's really cool that you kind of repeated the same message over and over again. Like you're teaching the same stuff. You've teach 10 times, 50, 100, and you keep doing it with a smile on your face. And for me, I find it as an inspiration, because I also have to explain the game over and over and over. And it's part of the process. Like there's going to be someone new that has not went through that route yet, and he deserves the same love and same attention as someone that joined like 2 years ago, and he's pretty much an expert right now. So thank you for doing that, Panda.
Oh, thank you.
Okay, so let's see how much we got here. It does not have a name, unfortunately. I really like those. But Sir Alokan, it actually got into, for a beginner, and he said that, not beginner, new. For a new entry, I would say that you've got, in my opinion, the right principles. You've got, in terms of the size, it's good. You've got a good handle. You've got a good tip of the pickaxe. So all the things to make a pickaxe, it's there. So actually you scored right in the middle with an average of 2.5. So congratulations. And if you had fun and enjoyed, keep going. We will have fun and we will enjoy see those submissions as well. Now, the next one we've got here, it's from Zipix. So Zipix did Amethyst Pickaxe, and I'll put a lot of axe in this pick. So I'm kind of torn in here. So Phil, what would be your take on this? This is a slightly different from everything we've been seeing so far.
It is, and I think this one is unique for me because it has the meta ring touch, which is a different kind of purple if you're asking. So it's basically, I like this one because it also has the, so there's two handles at the very end, which is cool. It looks like it was created from, you know, like trees just.
I like that touch.
Yeah, I like that touch. For me, it looks.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it looks a little bit like like a bat for me. I don't know why. It just gives me the bat vibes.
I can see that.
Yeah.
This reminds me if I have to say when I look at this, where my mind goes to, if you guys remember one of the first games from Mega Drive, like you had the warriors. It was like a dwarf, a warrior, and like a Amazon princess, where you're battling. I think it was something Axe, the name of the game. Really old school. Anyway, personally, I kind of got like, this is more like an axe, like not as a pickaxe. So in terms of respecting the design, personally, I felt like, okay, hey, don't get me wrong, this is a very beautiful asset. As an asset as it is, I think it's really good. And I can tell by the scores that everyone posted. On this one, I actually put the lower one because it did not match the pickaxe theme. So again, this is a very well done design. Nonetheless, I enjoyed pretty much, but for that reason, personally, I had to give it a lower ranking. So overall, we've got here by Zipix, even with that, an amazing 3.4 as a score. So congratulations, keep coming. And next time, I want to see this one, but as a pickaxe, because if it was, I feel this could have gotten a really good average from everyone. All right, next one, and we're pretty much over the 50. And Panda and Phil, let me know if you guys are running out of time, because this is taking longer than I would expect.
That's okay for me.
Yeah, I'm all right for a little bit.
Okay, let's try to speed it up. Okay, we got Mr. Fearsex on this one. Again, as we were talking before, when we do the judging, we do not look at who's creating to not get biased, like, oh, this is our sand fam, or like, oh, I've never seen this name before. So we don't look at who we're judging. We're just looking at the submissions. We've got the images. We're just looking very particular to what's being designed. But Panda,
Yeah, a good title helps, right?
A title also helps. Here is the Star Miner. I like this one. So, Panda, what's your take on this one? This is a very specific type of pickaxe.
I'll just go for the one thing that I really liked about it. I like the bit, as if it's like powering up. That by far was my favorite bit of this. Sometimes it's the simplest things that make me really happy when I look at assets, and this was one of those. I really liked seeing that. I thought it was very cool. So I liked that, and the general design of it was cool.
I relate with you when you say that. Sometimes you just look at an asset and it makes you smile.
Yeah.
And I bet that happens to you a lot of times.
Oh, yeah. People submit really, really cool assets. And then sometimes I'm there going like, I wish I could make that. You guys are cool. Let's be friends.
You get offered like designs a lot?
No, but when I did run a table contest, so I asked people to make tables, the person who won, I liked what they made so much because they made it basically to rub my ego. It had all of my avatar stuff all over it. But I said, can we mint this? So they got half and I got half of the assets that we minted. But people don't generally just go like, send me assets. That would be cool. But yeah.
That was nice. All right. I'm curious. Maybe like you just say, hey, I've made these design for you. Hey, take it. Like you, I was curious.
If people want to, feel free. Rub my ego. Send me stuff and say, please, can you mint this? And I'll send you half of them. Sure.
Hey. You heard Panda. You heard the boss.
It has to be good. It has to be good. I'm not going to just start minting random stuff and have Sandbox be like, hey, what's going on here? Have my privileges revoked.
You have to pass Gordon Ramsay of Voxels here. So
yeah.
Okay. So this one by Mr. Furious X, I've added already all the scores and also reached an amazing average of 3.2. So congratulations, Mr. Furious X, and keep going. I really appreciated to see your submission. And also the fact that you actually put a Lucky Miner holding it while making these render. It also makes me happy because it really gives a comparison of what's the size of it comparing to the avatar. Yep. So next one we've got here, I cannot see the nickname. It's Sunshine Club. It was a little bit rough to judge this design as well. But okay, Phil, I want to ask you regarding this one. It has a lot of stuff happening. So when you're looking into the submissions, what's the first thing that makes you say that, oh, I really like this design?
Well, for me personally, again, it could be either, it's either that first, like, hey, there's a bunch of things happening in there. This one had it, but I think, as you said, it was a little bit hard to judge because couldn't really. It just feels like I couldn't see it right. I really love all the details. I think like it's really detailed. It gives me a little bit of vibes of a dragon somehow. It just feels like one of its flies. I like how he combined the colors, even though there's no value branding in there. I think the way he combined the colors was really nice. And yeah, I think it also has a little bit of movement with it as well.
Okay, so basically, when you look at a submission, the first thing is like the first impact, how you feel when you look at it is one of the most important things as well.
I mean, that's what makes you rate it real high. if there's no first impact, then you just go and look for the other stuff, right? Will it look cool in an avatar's hand, is it branded and whatnot? But it's the first impression. If it doesn't have the first boom, like, hey, I like this from the very beginning, then you just start looking for reasons to like it.
No, you're saying a very good point, and I think that's the most genuine answer you could find. Like, you just like, oh, I like this. And if you're not like impressed by first, you're going to rationally think, okay, how was this designed?
Yeah.
So I really like your thought on this. Okay, so we've got here the Sunshine Club 47. It reached also an amazing score of 3 points, so very round number as well, and way above average. Now, next one, and we're already going towards the end. We've got here SSDW, aka the Yoke. We've got the balanced base powered by Vents. The Pickaxe packs a wall up. So Rusty with VE haven't touched. Oh, Rusty with VoxEdit haven't touched in ages. I'll just want to add, I like the fact they have vents in here rotating.
Yeah.
And also probably Panda. I'm going to pass this also on for Tudor here for Phil. Sorry, because this one adds a very specific touch, which is the vans rotating. And I want to ask you, like, how much importance did you give to actually have the Vanly brand on the pickaxe, or just, hey, this looks good, I like it?
I mean, I think it's important for us to just, because this is for this specific partnership, right? But it's important for us to figure out how people see our partnership, right? How they think a Vanly pickaxe would look. It doesn't need to have the Vanly logo on it, as long as it's how they pictured it, right? But obviously, it's the easiest way to just go with the brandings, the colors, the logos. So it's also kind of what I was rating for. But if it has the Vanly and Pickaxe touch in a way that, like, it doesn't says Vanly on it, right? It doesn't write Vanly on it. But if you understand that it's something Pickaxe did with Vanly, then I'm on board with it. This one is a particularly nice one because, yeah, Vents is obviously our internal token, but it's not written on the side or so, it's just round in there, so you kind of just try to always read it. I like that touch for sure.
Okay, it took me a time to read it, but I was asking this question, coming back a little bit to another question I also asked to Panda Pops, which was, when there's a VoxEdit contest and it's related to a brand, like, how yourself, as someone that's representing a brand, Vanly, how would you see these submissions and what you would be looking for? Because I think that this could also help into future sandbox contests that would be IP related and somehow could get at least a feedback what it is to be in the eyes of someone that's looking for, hey, where's my brand in this submission? Or how do I want to see my brand in this submission? That might be useful info.
Okay, fair enough. Well, I think indeed we added some of these, like, let's say, requirements in the article that we shared, but we were fairly broad when we gave these. And it's because what I just said, right? It doesn't need to have the brandings, but if you get us to really think of that, that works for me. If you say that your pickaxe is, of a developer fighting to, build up on it, then I can see that, hey, all right, it's someone creating on the blockchain. It's, the Vanly developers working on it. So I'm just trying to be as fair as possible with all of them. But yeah, it's still the first the first thing you see. And obviously, if it's Vents, if it's something that especially I haven't seen in the other ones, for me, having like 30 entries to kind of try to put on a specific place, it was fairly hard, right? Some really were very, very close to each other. So you kind of just figure out.
You are very generous with all the scoring.
I was generous. I mentioned this at the very beginning, just so we're cool with it.
I'm looking at my scores and Panda scores and then your scores. You're just like, you're very generous with everyone. And so we've got here from the submission that we have here from the Yoke ASSDW. It reached an amazing score of 2.1, and I have to say, not bad. And from what I understand, it has not touched VoxEdit since the last Pickaxe contest that happened more than 1 year ago. So you still got it. All right, next one we have here. It's a submission done by Sanctum. So Sanctum is, at least in our side, you see his posts quite often, and this would be one of those cases. And I would put this one for you, Panda. So this is one of those cases that I personally followed because he used to share his creations with me, and I got to see what was the evolution, the journey in here, and how from participating in different contests actually got to become a better creator. And this has so much going, from glowing, from animations, from Hannah. I'm curious, what's your take on this one?
Yeah, I really like this one. The level of complexity is up there. I don't think people quite realize how difficult it is to do an animation of the bit wrapping around the handle, because that's not easy to do, and it's not easy to do it smoothly either. And they've done it really smoothly, and it's really nice. The whole design is clean and sleek. There's detail, but there's not too much detail, which to me is really important. I don't want something to be super in my face with detail. I like detail, and this has a good level of detail without being overbearing with lots of detail. The glowing handle bit, the glowing bit at the bottom, really cool, as well as on the actual pickaxe itself. I could definitely see, in my mind, they're going mining really low in the depths of the mines, and their pickaxe is their light source at this point. And the lightning is clearly helping them mine. I don't know what's powering the lightning. Maybe it's
magic.
Imbued with some maybe it's imbued with some magic, which is excellent. But yeah, I enjoyed this one. This one was very nicely done for me.
This got an high score from everyone, and I have to say that Sanctum did reach an average of 3.9. So
Nice.
really in the tops.
Yeah, this was one where I didn't really mind that there was no branding. I think either from Pickaxe, right? There's no a lot of, but I really didn't mind. It was so smooth that it was, yeah, okay. You know, there's no need to
to go over the top. Okay.
Yeah.
Personally, I think it's a Pickaxe. It's a well done asset, and generally I like it. And the overall score also reflects it. 3.9 is a very high one. So let's keep going as we're running short on time. So we've got here from Go West, which is said that he modified one of his first creations in VoxEdit for the Pickaxe Machiavelli Axe contest. So what you think? And I'll throw this one to you, Phil.
Okay. Well, for me, I really like that there's two parts that are spinning, but they are not linked to each other. I found this really interesting. I also, so all the moving parts, I think they kind of fit. I can't say if it's necessarily, as you said, just an axe or a pickaxe for this one either, but I very much like the the touch at the bottom. It feels like you can kind of extend it if you need to, you know, just mine deeper. So I really like this one.
Yeah, this has cool stuff going on. I like the things coming on and off of that pickaxe. So yeah. I think it was a really well done job, also with animation. So here we've got Go West, and Go West said that he was ready to be roasted by you, Panda. I'm not sure if you want to take advantage to do that.
Oh no, I was just typing like, lucky I don't need to say anything about goals.
Okay, you pass this one out. Okay, so Go West did reach an awesome scoring of 3 as well. So you can see everyone's getting their places on, and we'll get to see the top 5 in a short bit. So we got the next one made by Allogram. Personally, I have to say I got to meet Allogram during the non-fungible conference in Lisbon. So when I got to see who did this submission, it kind of tasted different. And I think these are the cool things about conferences. And I do want to ask, like, for example, I know that Anapops does attend a lot of sandbox conferences for obvious reasons. And what's been your experiencing in meeting like the creators? You would see them, you submitting for example, you would see all of these submissions from these creators, and then you actually get to meet them.
So I've not met too many people at these things. It's a lot of more like studio people I've met, rather than people that take part in the VoxEdit contest and that come to the streams. However, when I have met, and I'm going to use this word lightly, fans, it's always been nice. They've always said things like, I've learned so much from your streams. You've inspired me to be a creator. And that's always just a really, really good feeling. It's also a very surreal feeling to think that I've had that much influence on people. So I've got so much power. It's great. But no, if I've not met that many creators in person, I would love to. If you guys want to borderline stalk me to some conferences, that's cool. But I don't. Yeah, I know you said that I've been to quite a few. I've been to a handful. I've not gone to as many as I'd like to. I'd love to go to more. 100%. I'd love attending events. I love teaching just the general public about the sandbox and about the software like VoxEdit and GameMaker, and trying to onboard them. Not so much onboard them into crypto. I know we're blockchain and crypto related. It's just more about giving them options of different ways that they can create, different places they can create. And obviously, you don't need to be in crypto to be in the sandbox, which I really, really like. And I think that's a good selling point to a lot of people that are not as keen on crypto or don't understand crypto fully. So they don't fully understand everything, like the nuances about it. They see things in news articles about, oh, this person spent $1 million on a profile picture, and all of that stuff, and all of the scams and things like that. And it really sort of gives, I think, blockchain a bad name. But the good thing about Sandbox is you don't need to fully be in crypto to be in the Sandbox. And obviously, Venly help with that, with your amazing Venly wallet. So there you go. Thank you.
Hell yeah. Sorry, when you said that particular phrase, I just got these at you give love a bad name. You know that song?
Yeah.
Like you give blockchain a bad name, and my
Yeah.
just starts playing. Sorry, but you're you're totally right. You don't need to be in crypto or NFTs or whatsoever to just make designs. And actually, I got some really good feedback that in terms of tools, of programs, software to actually design in VoxEdit, it's actually one of top of the line. So it's just a style, like you're saying. There's a lot of people that do enjoy to design in voxel style. So hell yeah. So this one by Allogram, I want to say I already calculated what was the votings, and it got really high voting from everyone as well. So right now, Allogram reached an amazing and impressive 4.2 high score as a general. So I think right now it's in first place.
Yeah.
It's surpassed the one by Shakespeare. So next one we've got here by the Bitfox, which is the Thor from Venligard. This seems like it's already getting some storylines and some lore from Venligard. Animation is accelerated for demo purposes. So, Tudor, can you tell us a bit more about Venligard and what do you think about this Pickaxe?
Well, of course. Again, thank you, Bitfox, for joining the contest, as well as everyone. Obviously, I think this one was kind of like when you do some testing, you just need to do some trial and see where it goes. This one was, I think I also rated it maybe not the highest, but I gave it some really good input because, well, it doesn't necessarily look like a pickaxe exactly for me, but I like the runes, for example, and I think it has the, as you said, the lore for it. We should definitely try to go for, the Vanley Guard, um, you know, making sure the security for the chain is all right and on point. So this is kind of more like a pickaxe I would fight with, not mine with, I'd say.
Mhm. I totally agree with you, and the runes part of it also does make up for. Well, it's a different type of pickaxe. Why not for a pickaxe? Something like
No,
more like
no,
a
for
hammer
sure.
for some heavy digging. And Pan, I was seeing this, and what would be your take regarding here the animation? Because clearly, I understand from this contest that I understand nothing about complexity.
I mean, the animation's cute. It's sleek. The bits poking out are very well hidden within inside the asset, which is it's very good in terms of complexity. It scored in the middle for me, so it didn't score the lowest. I'm frozen again. Great. I'm
You
just
got
gonna,
frozen?
yeah. It's my camera. But yeah, the complexity wasn't as high as some others that I voted on because there isn't loads and loads going on, but there's enough that it would score well with complexity. And there we go. I'm not frozen anymore.
Welcome back.
Thank you. But the lights coming on and off in the runes, really, really nice touch. It's sometimes it's a little hard to see it there, especially with the background being purple. You can only just kind of tell that the lights are flashing in there. So I would say when you're doing renders of your assets for contests, at the very least, make sure that you can see every little bit of those details that's happening, because that could be something that's easily missed. Yeah, generally the complexity isn't super complex. I think a lot of people may be able to copy it, but the animations they added are smooth and sleek.
I love that feedback.
Okay.
So, big tip here: if you have you're going to make a submission for a contest, make sure that the background color you're using it has enough contrast to see all the details that you're going to put there. Okay, so we've got here from the Bitfox. It's reached also a very good average and very round number of 3 points. So congratulations, the Bitfox, and
Nice.
thank you for submitting those beautiful. Now we're getting pretty much reaching the final 5. We got Ian. I have to say this submitted a little bit harder, so it was posted on YouTube. Okay, so we got this one. Let me get it up. In terms of submission wise, this was a little bit harder to judge, and so I would go for Phil. So what would be your take on this one?
Okay, I see a little bit the well, it's a bit dark to begin with, right? It
Mhm.
wouldn't, but it also has the lightning, which comes to, help on your way when you don't have the lights on, to say so.
Mhm.
I like how it looks. I think the yeah, the top, it's a bit bigger than for the other ones. I think it's, well,
It's I don't know what's the pickaxe this reminds me. It looks like it's not even a Minecraft type of pickaxe, but it does remind a pickaxe from other genre. But yeah,
no, for sure. I mean, the handle is smooth, right? You can't really say it's done in VoxEdit, to be honest. I think it looks nice, but it's probably still from the dark colors that he chose. But for also, you can see that there's like small lightnings on the actual axe, which is also cool. I think he didn't just went with a straight line, so that's also nice.
I agree with you. And this kind of feels like it's been drawing, like a hand-drawn type of
Mhm.
pickaxe. So it came from a comic book.
I
So,
think what's missing is some animation to it, maybe.
and probably this render or this presentation was not the best for us to actually see the total
Fair.
complexity and how actually the pickaxe looks. So we have gotten an average of 2 points for Ian the IT guy. Nonetheless, we appreciate you for sending this. And again, although we do have to put or attribute points, we love every pickaxe and every VoxEdit submission. It really warms our heart to do so. Now, next one, we've got here by Marshall. And already see this one has a high score already. And Panapops, I'll ask you about this one because for me, I understand absolutely nothing about design and about VoxEdit. Well, I do understand a little bit, but this feels highly complex. I don't know why, but it feels highly complex.
I mean, definitely the hilt is complex, for sure. And generally how they've designed a lot of it with different pieces, nodes connecting with each other to rotate them to give them that shape. I would say, see, I feel slightly clouded because I could make this. The handle, I'd probably spend a little bit extra time trying to make look right, but everything else, I know exactly how they made all of that. So I'm a little bit clouded in terms of complexity. So you're saying this looks super complex to me. I'm like, yeah, they did score well with complexity from me. They also scored fairly well with it being one of my favorites. And I'll tell you why it's one of my favorites. Because it's super clean. It's such a clean design. And it's not 100% like a sandbox style. And I think I said it earlier. Sometimes you see an asset and you're just like, I love this. And this is one that I really like. I feel like you can't, with some IPs and brands and stuff like that, when you buy an item, you know it belongs to that. You buy, you know, like your favorite anime character bag, and it's branded fully on there in your face. I feel like this is a very subtle but clear hint of it being Venli. Like, it's not super in your face, and they've done a really, really good job making a very nice asset that is clearly on theme, but it's not in your face. And I like it. I just really like it. I think it's a really good asset overall.
Thank you, Pan. And it's funny that you said that because I also agree with you. It's like the themes are there. It's just not super in your face, and the subtleness of it. It's also quite a hard thing to reach. Like how subtle the message or the IP is there. And I agree with you. It really matches. And I find it curious. Like when you look at a submission, like, oh, I cannot design this. So also you put like how to judge the level of difficulty. Like, oh, this would take like about 3 weeks to do, or I don't know. I'm trying to understand
so level of complexity, I think it would vary on who's judging it. So if you're looking at level of complexity, you're probably being like, this is super complex. I have no idea how they made that whatsoever. I'm going to give them a really high score. At least internally, all of our judges have a very good understanding of VoxEdit and can understand how complex it would be to make an asset like that. And they would rate it based off a sort of a intermediate person's understanding of VoxEdit. So not a complete beginner, because, you know, otherwise everything's super complex. If we're going like, oh, from a beginner's point of view, all of these are very, very complex. But so from an intermediate viewpoint, that's how we're basing it off of. So would somebody with a middle tier level of knowledge, how well would they be able to replicate what that is doing? And I would say that's sort of like mid-tier to be able to replicate. I think the hilt is probably the hardest thing people would find to replicate with this asset, but it's still really, really well done.
Okay, and thank you for all that input. And if you're thinking if it's just Panda Pops just judging everything, so there's a lot of people that vote, so it's a fair voting process.
No, it's just me. I'm the only one. I do all of the voting. I do everything. Technically, I just put myself first place every time. You don't know that. No, I'm joking. Yes, we have a full team of people that take part in the whole judging voting process within the sandbox, and these are people of all different. Some people with different skill levels. But everybody has knowledge of VoxEdit, design, and all of that. We do obviously have some staff members from like a marketing side, but many of them are sell leads and people who use VoxEdit pretty much on a daily basis.
Yeah, you can tell. And for example, what I voted on complexity, and that was high. And it's also good that you kind of separated that into two categories in terms of the sandbox, like the beginner and also for the expert, which I believe it kind of welcomes everyone to like, hey, at least there's a beginner category.
So not all of our contests. So any IPs, we don't do that because we always allow the IPs to judge because it's their contest at the end of the day. And then having to coordinate with the IPs isn't always easy, and to then give them 2 voting forms to do. It's not always easy to organize that and get that done on a timely manner within our schedules. So IPs are there's never a beginner contest, it's just a regular. But for our internal ones, as often as we can, we do have the sort of regular contest, which is more for the expert level, I would say, like you said now, and then the beginner friendly. So beginner friendly, smaller prize fund, but obviously it's to entice newer people to participate for that one, and the regulars can take part in the one with the higher prize fund and battle it out for that one.
Hell yeah. And I think you're doing an amazing job by promoting the inclusion of everyone. So again, we have been quite some time on this one, so we have to move forward as well. So this one it was done by Marshall White Air Domain, and he reached an amazing 4.2, but without rounding up, this one actually has a 4.26, so meaning that actually is sitting on top place. So congratulations, Marshall. This is
I'll just say this had 4.6 for me. the overall score, I was like, yeah, I don't know how to do it. It was just like you said, I was like, I don't know how he did this. The lighting is cool. Yeah, just did a nice job.
We don't have to know. We just have fun looking at everything that was presented. So this one was by Radius Dawn, and it is called the V Peak Master, and it has a lot of stuff going on. Like I can see bended voxels, I can see animation as well, a nice color degrade. I'm not sure if that's the right word. Shading, color shading here. Yeah. There's a lot of stuff happening here. I don't know where to begin, but I really like it. Phil, do you want to comment on this one?
No, for sure. I mean, here for this one, we don't necessarily see the theme for this is the exact. Yeah, well, this is the example that when you asked me, hey, what do you look first in terms of branding and what should people look for when they will try to do an IP type of contest for VoxEdit, I think this is a great example of not using the branding but still being within the theme for it. I think, well, it doesn't necessarily look sandboxy to me, but I really enjoy the cross the details he had in the middle and the way they are integrated. I think it's very cool because he also had kind of the same types, so you can see it like 3 times in within the pickaxe. Again, it looks smooth but fairly powerful. So yeah, I would say again it's something more like maybe Minecraft or something even darker for me.
Well, it's like you said, the first impression when you look at it, it's like, whoa, there's so many things happening here. But again, great submission by Radius Dawn. We'll make it short because we really have to go through all of them, and we're reaching the final 5. So this also by Radius Dawn achieved an amazing 4.26. So it's tied up. He got exactly the same score as White Air Domain, which is not common. It's the first time we see a tie in here. But let's move into the next one, which is done by Danimal Cilantro Vox. And this is the Cosmic Sapphire Pickaxe. And this is a very specific one. There's so many things in here. And Panapops, I do want to ask for your opinion on this one, because I think it kind of brings a lot of things that you talked about on this one together.
So actually, you say that. One, it's on theme. I like that it's on theme. It's got a really cool style because it looks like a bird. And I really liked that. I like the design choices for it. But in terms of complexity, I didn't feel like it was overly complex, in my opinion. There's things happening there, which is like, yeah, okay, you get some points towards that. But yeah, for me, it just compared to everything else, because we're getting to the point where we've got a lot of submissions where they're all they're good. They're good. We've got a lot of that are very good, but they are scoring sort of similar in the same ballpark, which is why I feel like I should have done some points, 3 points, something scoring with some of these. It looks nice. The design's nice. Just when I compare it to some of the others, it just didn't hit that top marks for me. But overall, it's got a nice, sleek design. I like that it looks like a bird. That's cool.
Actually, the animal did not notice it looked like a bird until people actually put in the comments.
Oh, okay. They were just like, it's just an accidental.
I should have named it Hummingbird Pickaxe. So it did actually get a very nice score with a very round number of 4. So it does place him in the top ones. And I see here on the next one, I don't remember what it is, but from the score, it's got to be a really good one as well. So let's get into this one. Oh, okay.
All right.
By Vox Expressive. This got to be by far the one I was most surprised to see. I was not expecting this at all. It has so much information, so much going on, and I would like to hear both of your opinions on this one. We'll try to make a short ones because also, again, it's getting a little bit lengthy. We're just right in the final. So, Phil, what would your take on this?
I mean, I really like this one. It feels like you can bring this pickaxe to a party. You know, it's just what you it's just what you need. You know, you can use it for mining, but you can also just brag with it. You know, it's just I really like it.
Oh, wow. That's a Panapops. What would be your take on this one?
I loved it. I absolutely loved it. It scored very, very well for me, honestly. I thought it still seemed like it was on theme, but also outside of the box. When I mentioned earlier, I look for creativity where it's symbiotic with being also outside of the box, but on theme. This is the sort of thing I'm looking for. I'm like, I can't, it's not in your face, Venly, but like you can tell it's there. And it's just a really, really good take. And you can clearly tell it's an axe of both sorts. Get it? And yeah. Okay. But yeah, it's cool. I loved it.
Oh my god. Well, these got their also really high score, and I have to say it also got into first place so far. So this one that was done by Vox Expressive, and yeah, this has so much things going on. It reached an amazing score of 4.5. So currently first place. I'm not sure if you all noticed this, or this is just me by looking at a lot of pickaxes sometimes. When you look at it, the pickaxes kind of look like birds. Like, look at now, when it's flipping. That's a bird head.
Yeah, with the eye and everything.
That's just too many pickaxes. So congratulations, Vox Expressive, Aaron Lim. That so far, right now, has the top scoring with an average of 4.5. And this is beyond anything we expected to see in a submission. It has a lot of things going on. Now, moving into the fourth, before we finish, we've got AB Art with the Amethyst Vein Breaker. So I think we're going to be a little bit short. I think we're going to just wrap it up on the scorings because it's really going over the time. I have to apologize to Panda and to Tudor for being so much time on here that was not expected. And again, to thank you for being here. So on this one by Abart, we've got a score of 3. So thank you so much for submitting this one. I'm sorry for rushing, but it is really going over the top. Articom, we've got here the VAX, the first, no, not the first, for the VoxEdit Pickaxe Design Contest. And on this one, I like this tiny little detail up there which is very odd. I would say this is very odd because it's very simple design. And you get like such a low poly detail on top of it. So a bit confusing in terms of what it's either one or the other. So the score that you actually got, it's still on average. It's a 2.5 score. So not bad, not good, just right in the middle. Now, the next one we've got here, it's Oak 6 that has done this. It's the dual VX. This also looks like a party pickaxe, I would say. This and the guitar one, I would bring those both. Oh, by the way, the guitar one, it has also a really cool name. It is the Cyberpunk Rock Bass Pickaxe. All right, but this one that was did by Oak6, the dual V pickaxe, it reached an amazing score of 3.2. And Tudor, I have to say, you're really, really generous with all the scorings. Everything's just like over 4, like all the time. Now we get to the last one from Pandu IP. Found in the deepest cave, it possesses mysterious engravings and it's said to have mystical powers. And I see here that this one got the highest score either from Venly and from the sandbox. So I'm very curious on this one. What are we looking here in terms of the difficulty details? Panda, I want to ask you.
The writing, I actually had, I believe last year, Trier had contacted me to say, how was this done? Was this done in VoxEdit? How have they done this? And I had to dedicate a whole stream over how it's possible to do that writing. So yeah, the writing is actually really difficult to do that. And it goes in hand with taking one voxel and rotating it. And it's easy enough to take the voxel and rotate it. What's the difficult part is actually making it so it makes those letters, which isn't always easy to do. It's a very, very fiddly. Think of it as somebody trying to do a sewing project. Instead of using a sewing machine, they're doing it by hand, needle and thread, just doing each individual little piece. And yeah, it's by complexity. I know there's no, I don't see animation on there. There's no animation as such, but just how complex it is to make something look like that is definitely not a skill many, even intermediate people know. So yeah, I thought it was quite complex and it looks absolutely stunning. They've done a fantastic job with the tiny details.
I agree with you. And also as the Venly logo, that's kind of, it's the logo, but it does not get over the top. Actually, it gets a little bit, I don't want to say a notice because it's not a notice, it's right there, but it does not feel too much over the, without being on the context of it. Okay. Okay, I want to say that this one also got a very high score. And actually, I want to say that this one was actually the winner of the VoxEdit Pickaxe contest. Who would have known that the last submission actually got the best score overall? So with 4.6 as an average, we got here by Pando IP. Congratulations, you've got yourself the highest score with 4.6 as an average of all votings with your pickaxe. So I think we're in the right time to say the top 5. So we had first place, this pickaxe sent by Pandu IP. On second place, we had by Vox Expressive, which should be this one. Then we've got on third place, which is tied up, these two, which was posted by, let me see how far did I go? Okay, this one by Marshall, which is the Venly Amethyst pickaxe. And this one, which was done by Radius Dawn, the V Pick Masters. So both of this, they're tied up in third and fourth place with 4.2.6. And then on fifth place, we've got by Allogram, which is this one that reached fifth place and reached a ranking of 4.2. So congratulations. But before even the congratulations, thank you all for participating in this contest, because you made this really fun and you made this really hard. And I do want to ask, how hard was for you guys to vote?
Yeah, some were difficult, some were easy. I'm mean. I'm not gonna shy away from it. I have to judge assets all of the time. It comes second nature to me now.
So pretty easy for Panda Pops. Phil, what was your take on this? How hard was it for you?
Well, I was a bit, probably you guys expected this, but I was a bit overwhelmed when I first started judging them, and then I saw that they are, just getting better, and I was like, yeah, I'm running out of notes to give, so I just need to kind of differentiate them a little bit. But this is also one of the reasons why I was so good with it. I just enjoyed all of them, I gotta say.
I have to say the same. I enjoyed every submission. It was very hard to actually vote to see like what's the best, what's not the best. I think we've got like a very balanced overall, and I think who we saw to end in top 5 actually reflects very good submissions that were paying different aspects. And yeah, I want to say that I'm happy with this selection. So what we'll be doing with the winner pickaxe, which is this one, this pickaxe will get minted. Basically, it will receive the same utility as all the other pickaxes from our collection. So it will grant you an entry to the gated leaderboards if you own one of these. So meaning you get access to extra sand prices. And also Vanley is doing some really cool stuff regarding gaming. They're creating a clan, so I think it's going to reveal some perks and some stuff along the way. So you should paying attention to what also from the remaining copies. There will be some that will be sent to the winners, and the remaining copies will also be staying with Vanley. You should pay attention to what they will be doing and try to get your hands in one of this. So it's time we see the last one, which is the public voting. We've got 28 responses, so let's get to see. Okay, I cannot see from the bullet. Okay, this has to be manually. I was not expecting this. The guitar axe, the pickaxe entry number 3, Shakespeare, pickaxe by Pandu. Very cool entry from Pandu. Thunder pickaxe. Got here Blue Diamond Steampunk, Enchanted Amethyst, Mr. Fierce X, Geojoker, CRP Monster, Last Ear Trier, Allogram, CRP. Oh, we've got someone that voted for Pan Pops. You gotta vote, Pan.
What? How? How did I get a vote? Thank you. I'm the community's favorite. Yes.
The real winner.
We've got another Shakespeare Steampunk, Pickaxe, and Igraga Pandu. So I see Last Year Try Again, now for the Amethyst. So we've got 3 votes for the Steampunk Pickaxe by OG Shakespeare. We've got 4 votes for Pandu, Ishap, the one we're looking right now. And I would have to say, yep, it's solid. It's also the community's favorite. Pandu IP also wins the community votes, and I have to say, fair enough. I cannot contest it. Yeah, I cannot complain. So it's already 5 p.m. my local time, so this should be 4 p.m. UTC, and it's pretty much going after the time that we were originally thinking. So I do want to thank with all of my heart for you, Phil, and for you, Panda, for being in the stream to talk about VoxEdit, to talk about IP branding, to talk about tips and to the creators on how to build their assets, on how to get better, to explain what's complexity, how some of these things are done. So thank you so much for being here. And we'll be wrapping the stream very, very soon. And before we do, I want to ask 2 things. One would be, Panda Pops, for a contest like this that comes from UGC and also from brands, what would be your advice if you have any project that decides to do, for example, a VoxEdit project? What would be your advice on how should be their approach?
I mean, the first thing I would say is if you are just like a studio, a brand and you want to run your own VoxEdit contest, please feel free to contact me at the Sandbox to see whether the Sandbox can actually help with anything, whether that's to Sandbox being able to give your winners the right to mint, whether that would be Sandbox even potentially, not promising, potentially being able to give you a little bit of additional funding towards prizes, things like that. So you can actually reach out. I'm the VoxEdit community manager for those that don't know. So I organize all of the global VoxEdit contests, all of the themes. I work with the IPs and do all of that stuff. So if there is a studio or just a creator that wants to do a contest like that, they have the ability to be able to reach out to me and we can see if we can facilitate anything. If not, a good way is I strongly steer clear of allowing community to have the main vote. Like you did the community vote. I love that. I love the idea of giving the community a vote. The reason we don't do community voting for main voting, at least in Sandbox, is it's up to abuse. So popular voting and people can try and abuse the system. They could have all of their friends and family vote. They can make multiple accounts and vote. It's very easy to abuse the system like that. So don't do that. I would say put together a panel of judges, whether, you know, you reach out to some artists and things like that, put together your own little panel and have clear themes. There's nothing worse than having unclear themes for contests. So have a very clear theme. So your the people participating fully understand what is expected of them.
I think that's very good feedback. And so if you're planning to do anything like a challenge, or you know a brand, you're a studio working with a brand, you're deciding to do any type of contest, make sure to contact Panda. She's your person. All right. So Phil, I also want to ask you, now that we're at the end of this, regarding if you have to think for example, studios that have relationships with brands, for example, what you think that these was impactful and also helpful to have Vanly presence over the Sandbox?
So you mean for other brands that want to step into the Sandbox world?
So what I want to ask you is, yourself as a Vanly representative,
right?
How would you see the result of these contests as your integration in also the Sandbox ecosystem, and how your answer could also, for creators and studios that are working with brands, they would benefit from your experience from what we just did together?
Right. Well, I think Sandbox is kind of a great way to expand on your IP. I think it's kind of what links Web 2 to Web 3. So if you're like a, you know, Web 2 company that is looking to either expand or just explore more, I think it's a very easy step for you to kind of well, it's not necessarily about the gaming, right? I think it's more like a feeling, right? It's a new community that you step into. It's something new that you get to learn, and it's about being part of something that you actually get out of this. I would say it's worth it, even if it's, you know, just like a very big ass company that, you know, wants to, because we see this with the Sandbox as well, right? We see big brands, but we also see the small, you know, maybe it's just like a small community, or it's just like one ape maybe that has a bunch of lands, maybe experiences and whatnot. So it's basically for everyone. It has a little bit of everything, you know. Wherever you want to do, wherever you want to build, I think you'll find the people to do it there, and I think that they will always jump into helping you. It will be a smooth experience, and yeah, it's just, you don't need to trust me, you just need to test it yourself.
All right, that's very good input, and thank you for putting out what was your personal experience and what other studios that are working also with IPs or with brands they can also expect from here. So again, I want to thank you, Phil so much, Panda Pop so much for being here. It's been an honor. It's been a pleasure to have you both to do this together, to present this award ceremony. I genuinely hope that you had a lot of fun in here. And we'll be closing the stream, so I want to take this opportunity also for you to give some nice words to everyone that's been watching for these 2 hours. So, Panda Pops, I'll start with you.
Yeah, thanks for having me on. And my nice words to the community is get good, get voxelizing.
Phil, what would be your nice words here for the community as well?
Well, I want to thank the community, but first, both of you guys, because you helped us make it happen. And I gotta say, if it wasn't for you to help, kind of not, well, vote, if you guys wouldn't help me with voting around this and whatnot, it would have been really, really hard. But obviously, if there wasn't for the community to create this, it would have been a lot harder for us to kind of vote around it. So just the teamwork is the dream work.
Yeah, I have to agree with you, and thank you so much for your kind words. I also want to thank everyone that participated and sent their submission. You made this contest happen, and we had a great time to review it. So first one, we had about 13 entries. This one, we had over 30, so we are very happy and grateful to see how much it has been growing over the past year. So let's see if the next week we can make this again and to reach somehow the numbers that usually the Sandbox contest gets as a submission. So let's try to get better. Next year there will be another VoxEdit Pickaxe contest, so let's design some pickaxes. And until there, all the winners will be contacted through the tweets that they posted. We will ask you to then submit your wallet address, but we'll get in touch with you, so you do not need to worry. You'll be notified that you've been a winner. And again, thank you all for tuning in. I hope that you have an amazing day. I think today we're going to also have still Alex and Lucas, right? Just in a couple. Yeah, they should be starting events.
No, on a Wednesday they start in a few hours. So they start, what time is it here? 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. They start in about 4 hours-ish.
4 hours-ish from now. So time to get yourself some exercise out there. Just take a walk, get some eat, grab your popcorn, as we're going to have Alex and Lucas later today as well here on Twitch. So stay tuned, everyone. See you on next week. Thank you so much, Panda. Thank you so much, Phil. I'll see you on the next one. And I guess this is about it. We're going.
Thank you, guys.
Thank you.
Thank you so much. See you on the next one. And
in ancient times, the secret mountain was sealed by the dwarf titans with 5 powerful.
Let's skip that boring part and let's dig into business. I need your help.
Hey, where am I? This is a bit different from what I visited earlier.
Hey, come here quick.
Oh, me?
Yes, you.
How dare you to interrupt my story? I am the mountain.
Well, as I was saying, this is the Misty Mountain and has 2 things about it. One, it's filled with golds and diamonds. And there is some kind of weird magic.
What was the last part?
Instead, you can mine any dwarf streams, and all you need is a pickaxe.
Any dwarf streams?